Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. Sorry to be late. I was conscripted. I was conscripted by the tyrant known as Lady Rackets. I was conscripted by the tyrant. She is always working on projects and had a project for me to work on. So that is what was happening. Oh my goodness. Guys, I've had a terrible day, and it's great. It's actually not been terrible. It's just that everything keeps going wrong. Everything keeps going wrong. I know I know this shirt is weird, right? The shirt has a wide neck and is very strange, but it is official. It is official merchandise. It says "Disco Sucks" on it. It is from Three from Hell, the third installment in Rob Zombie's horror trilogy of House of a Thousand Corpses, and then Devil's Rejects, and then Three from Hell. And I got it along with the Blu-ray. It's I like it. I'm with it. So anyway, let me tell you briefly about everything going wrong in my day. So I had to wake up early to let me back up. Soder messages me. Okay? Soder from Q's show, also known as Snaj in my Discord. He messages me, and the Aldi is a German communist grocery store, and there's one in our town, and he tells me that the Aldi is selling their giant freezers. So if this is a girl shirt, it's a big girl shirt because it's even a little big on me. No, I think it's just old style is the idea. So Aldi is selling their giant freezers. You know, the ones with the like sliding glass panes on them that you reach in, you grab stuff out of. They're like 7 feet long and like 4 feet deep. It's huge. So, and they're selling them for $250 cash. Like, oh, I mean, that's cool, right? That's a huge freezer for not much cost. And I can put like ice cream treats and stuff in there for the kids, and they can just walk up in the summertime, you know, we can have it, and they can just open up this thing and grab them out. I probably wouldn't use it year round, but summertime for parties and stuff, especially, it's cool. I mean, I already have a deep freeze, and I have a couple fridges. It's a long story. So we have a lot of regular freezer space. This is meant for special occasions, to have as kind of a fun thing. So anyways, he's like, tells me yesterday that you can go get them. So, and he offers to help me because he's got a truck. So I had to take my kids somewhere at like 9 a.m. And then I came back home to sleep for 2 hours and had Snaj pick me up at 11:30. And so he does, and we go to Aldi, and we go to get the freezer. So it's $250 in cash. So I don't carry much cash ever, but and my debit card. This is great. This goes back to last week. Last week, my debit card was shut down by a glitch, like a literal glitch. I have had debit cards shut down for like merchant compromise or fraudulent transactions, like when someone used my debit card to buy 2 Google phones, right? They just somehow did that, and Google thought that it was me, and Google still doesn't consider it fraud. I'm like, someone stole from you because I got my money back. Someone stole from you, you dummies. But anyway, they don't believe me. It doesn't matter. I got my money back. I don't care. But anyway, so I had my debit card shut down for fraud when that happened. And so, but this last week, my debit card got shut down for nothing. I called them and they're like, well, it's similar to when it gets shut down for fraud, like the process, but there's no notes attached. And we always leave notes. And the weird thing is it's been delinked from your account and it's pending a card order, but you can't order it if there's no account linked. So this is all wrong. And I'm like, thanks. Get me a new card. That's all I need. I just need a new card. I don't care ultimately what's wrong, but this is how, I transact most of my business. I prefer to use a debit card because I don't want to put everything on credit. So anyway, and so I have a backup credit card that was using, but to just get cash out of the bank, you tend to need a debit card. So I had to go to my business bank because I don't have a local bank branch. Again, long story. So I went to my business bank, which is local, which is Wells Fargo, which makes me want to kill myself every time I go in their stupid branches because I hate Wells Fargo. I hate it. I hate it. But anyway, so I go and I'm like, okay, I'll just go into Wells Fargo and get some cash out of my business account. Doors locked. Oh, the lobby's closed. Drive through. So we go and it takes them forever to get us through the flipping drive through. Finally get up there. My transaction takes 10 seconds because I just need $250. Please give it to me. So we get that and go back to Aldi, give them the cash, get the thing loaded in the truck, and we're on the way back to Maison du Rackets. And we get here and we unload the freezer and Snaj notices that, so this thing has like the glass canopy top and like these curved edges. So it's nice and like very, very 50s. Oh, sorry. Curved on the edges, right? Curved pieces of glass. And the panes of glass are actually free sliding panes. So those we actually put down in the thing. And then the curved ones were sitting, they're attached with, some silicone adhesive. One was attached when we got there. Just one. The other one launched off in transport. It just flew into the atmosphere. It was gone. We have no idea when. It just didn't know it happened. But it just fluttered away. Like all of my hopes and dreams. So now I don't have a freezer. I have a giant coffin that you can escape from, but not a freezer. Because if you ran it, it would just be open to the air, pumping out freezer into the atmosphere. Completely useless. So that is infuriating. That was infuriating. And Lady Rackets and Snaj and I drove back to town because we were going to get lunch anyway. My thank you for him helping me out. I was like, let's go eat some lunch. I'll buy some lunch. And we looked for the flipping curved beveled glass piece all down the road. It's about 12 miles of roadway. We drove and we looked for it. Didn't see anything, not even a sign of it. Like, okay, well, I'll look later. So we drove and went and got some lunch. We got some burritos from this local place. And then I went to meet up with my family. And then when my family and I drove home, we went the same way and looked, still couldn't find it anywhere. Okay. So I come home and I say, okay, I'm going to record this video. I'm going to record a video. I'm going to talk about Quarter Pounders. Quarter Pounder made an announcement just a couple days ago, said that he is being forced to sue the people who have taken over exclusively games. Right? So I'm like, I'll record this video and teach people about just an intro on intellectual property, the difference between copyright and trademark, and why both of these are at issue in this case. And I'll do this cool little video. And so I record the video. It's like 20 minutes. I thought it was great. Great enough anyway. I don't know. It was fine. Good video. And I upload it everywhere, and I'm like so proud of myself. And then I start getting comments. Hey, you boomer. You muted the audio when you played the clip from Hambly. And I'm like, son of a hooker. Ah! Ah! So I had to take it down. I had to take the video down because I can't just have a blank for like a minute of OBS being muted. So I'm just pissed. And the dumb thing is, I can probably edit in the audio, like, and sync it up or whatever. Or it would take me literally less time to record an entirely new video. So I'll probably do that instead. And so that's going to go up tomorrow. I was livid. So I get done with that. It was a complete waste of time in the long run. And so then I'm like, okay, Lady Rackets, can we go find this flipping glass? I just need to find the glass because I either need to replace the glass, like get a custom curved glass piece made. I don't even know if you can, or I have to find something else to put there and insulate it and seal it off, I guess. So can we please, maybe it flew off into the grass because there's long grass. This is a country road that took me home. So there's long grass. I'm hoping maybe it flew off and landed in the puffy grass. It did not. Spoiler alert. That's not what happened. Spoiler alert. That's not what happened. So we're driving around. Looking for this thing. It takes like an hour to drive this 10 miles back and forth. And then as we're coming back almost about a third of the way. So we've gone, to town and come back. It's about a third of the way from the house. Lady Rackets finds it. It was just a streak of tiny, tiny microscopic crystals. Because I guess, the glass wasn't tempered or treated in any way because it's just on a freezer in a store. So it literally just shattered into tiny little bits. Didn't spider out or break off into like big, thick chunks. It wasn't like a plastic glass. So it's all over the road, just in a line of God's cocaine right there on the street. And yeah. So then I came back. But there was a shining part of my day. So I've mentioned that I'm going to be away from home for a significant part of this month. Family trip. There will be some slight disruption during driving days, but generally the shows will be happening normal times throughout the month. And I'll still be announcing them and everything, but I just won't be at home. I'm going to be visiting my parents. So anyway, so I have to get my allergy shots before we leave because the allergy shots have to be administered at my allergy clinic. I can't have them sent to Florida because I don't have an allergy clinic in Florida. I have to have them here. So I'm like, I call up the allergy place. And I'm like, okay. The pharmacy. Because they have this normally terrible system where you have to call the specialist pharmacy to ship the medication to the clinic, and then you set up an appointment with the clinic to get the shots administered. So I call up the allergy or the pharmacy. I'm like, okay, I need this shipped like ASAP because I want to leave this weekend. And they're like, oh, well, your prior authorization's expired. So we have to go through insurance. That's going to take 72 hours. I'm like, can you get it by Friday? Can it be gotten? Well, let me place you on hold for 20 minutes while I find out if it can be gotten by Friday. So then, sitting there, just pissed on the phone while poor Snaj is driving and just waiting and waiting and waiting. And she finally comes back and says, I expedited it, so we should get it cleared by Wednesday. Call us back on Wednesday to make sure we ship it and then set up the appointment with your clinic. I'm like, oh my God, we're talking razor thin margins here, right? Well, then I had called the clinic earlier for a different reason, and they called me back and they said, oh, by the way, this is the bright ray of sunshine in my day. By the way, we have your next dose of shots here already. So we just need to set up an appointment. Like, oh my goodness, thank you. Thank you. But here's a thought. When did you get them? And why haven't you called me? Like, why? What has happened here where I don't have an appointment already to have this stupid shot administered if you had them in the... How long did you get them? So anyway. So even the good part was rage-inducing. Because they have to like keep it the medicine refrigerated until they administer it. So like they normally want to get rid of it right away. They just didn't call. I don't know when they got it. I don't know how they got it. So anyway, I don't have a freezer. I have a metalish tomb. I do not have a video for today. I have a wasted video for today. But I do have my allergy shot appointment set up for this week. Thank God. Because I don't want to go to Florida in August without having my allergy shots for heat. That would be terrible. So then I went on Q's show. I was late there. And of course, I was also late here. Can't do anything right today. It's one of those days. One of those days. All right. Today we are going to be talking about George Floyd. We're going to be watching the video footage. Looks like a journo got snuck recorded some George Floyd footage from the courthouse or whatever. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be watching it. I have not watched it yet. We'll see what it changes in the analysis, if anything. It's pretty interesting that they haven't wanted to release the footage up until now. I don't know that it changes the underlying facts of the acts. I've seen a couple people speculate about it and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see. If it is exonerating, if it is condemning, who knows? Who knows? And then you guys will make up your own. I'll give you my opinion on it. And then, of course, at the end of the day, we're going to have to wait for the court to determine what was going on, to determine what the facts are, and if those facts can be applied to law in a way in which any of the officers involved are guilty of a crime. That'll be the court's job. We'll find out never. No, I'm just kidding. Probably next year sometime. But the other thing I will be doing is I received a gift in the mail today, and it is something. Hey, what's up, RGE Raid Force? Welcome, guys. I received a gift in the mail today to talk about and to sample on stream. And this is Jeppson Malort. Jeppson's Malort. It is a rather notorious liquor. So I got this bottle, or these bottles of Jeppson's Malort. Little micro bottles. I'm going to drink one of them. I've heard nothing good about this drink. Nothing good at all. So, we will see how it goes. It's supposed to be a very bitter beverage, and I'll read you guys the note that came with it. It was a thoughtful note. It's from the chemistry cowboy, Andrew. Andrew is the chemistry cowboy. That's his YouTube channel. By the way, guys, if you want to check him out on YouTube, go to the chemistry cowboy. He says, "Dearest Nicholas Rekieta, my wife and I are big fans of you and your YouTube channel. I've been watching since the Maddox lawsuit, but she joined during the Vic and Ron depositions, as the massive train wreck on the deposition had a drawing power of a moth to a flame. With kids and a semi-normal sleep schedule, we do not watch live, but we have spent many a night catching up on your many live streams. While we do not always agree with you politically, ouch, we are also very much sick of cancel culture and have enjoyed many a laugh at Ron's expense. So is everyone except Ron, I think. Since we do not watch live and do not offer super chats, we are sending you, Drexel, and Lady Rackets these small bottles of Malort, courtesy of relatives from Illinois. I am intimately familiar with Malort's unique flavor, and while I'm not sending a big bottle in the mail, I'm still sorry for your taste buds. This is not a liberal conspiracy to kill you. I swear we are fans, and once again, I am sorry. I also plan to send a small bottle to Mr. Peacock if I can get a P.O. Box address to send it. After you kill your taste buds, may I suggest you try some Jura whiskey, a reasonable price 10-year Islay Scotch. Yours in whiskey, Andrew." I am a fan of Jura. I'm a fan of Jura. It is a great whiskey. I had a snobby I was either a 19 or a 21 year Jura last year around this time, which was really delicious. No, it was in September of last year. It was really delicious. I just had a shot of it. I didn't have a bottle. But I do like Jura. So I'll be looking to procure some. There's not much around where I live that has Jura. So, Jeppson's Malort liquor. Jeppson's Malort has the aroma and full-bodied flavor of an unusual botanical. Its bitter taste is savored by two-fisted drinkers. So, we're going to do this. And then we'll get into the... It smells awful. Oh, it has the lovely aroma of just like rotting garden flowers. This doesn't count as a whiskey review. This isn't a whiskey. This is a liquor. All right, should I pour this in a glass? I gotta have something terrible. Yeah, we got a little plastic shot glass. I feel like that's what Malort should go in. We're going to try just a little bit. I don't like drinking out of these little micro bottles because I'm not homeless. I like to pour it into something to start. Yeah, I have a chaser ready. My chaser is Grape Propel that I drink in solidarity with the memory of George Floyd. Oh, God. It's just... I know the smell. It's like perfumey. Cologne, maybe? But, like, bad. It's like cheap cologne. It's like bathroom cologne, right? That is miserable. That is atrociously bad. Oh, God. Oh. Oh. Oh, it's worse than the ghost pepper by a long shot. Oh. Oh, it sticks around. Oh, it just... Oh! It coats your entire mouth in garbage. Why would anyone want this? Ugh! Oh, I taste it every time I breathe. It doesn't go away. Oh. Oh, I gotta finish it. It's only 50 milliliters. Oh. I don't wanna. I don't wanna. No, I've seen the Jeppson Malort commercial. Oh, God. That was disgusting. That's one of the worst things I've ever had. Liquor-wise. I would prefer Fireball. Why do they make it? It's just stuck there. It's just hanging out in the back of my throat. Oh. We're going to finish that. Why, I don't know, but we're gonna. Ugh. It doesn't go away for years. Ugh. Okay, let's speak of a not horrible drink. Oh. It's just there. It's just niggling in the back of my throat. Okay. Sauce. Yeah, they're allergy specialty clinics. All right. Robonex. I think I'd take ass over Malort. I never thought, but now I'm a believer. Ugh. Niggling intensifies. Okay. Let's read these super chats. And then it's depressing. But it what what is happening? What's the mask, Felipe? Okay. Let me do the super chats, and then we'll do some Malort and Floyd and Malort and Floyd. Okay. I feel like I was the chick from The Ring in that one. So this is the Dragon's Treasure. Dragon's Treasure is the tea company. dragonstreasure.com, I believe, is what it is. Let me just double check. The Dragons... Or no, it's just Dragon's Treasure. Dragons... The dragonstreasure.com is who sent in these, and this is important because they sent them in. They sent in a couple super chats a couple days ago, and now they're sending in a follow-up chat for it. So these first three are from the Dragon's Treasure. I'll just read them all as one. It says, in just this weekend, you broke the previous record and gave my sales a 4,000% boost from last year. You're getting your second gift box, you beautiful son of a... expletive deleted. Also, to the watchers, some orders might be a bit late because I wasn't expecting a 4,000% increase over the weekend. I'll be more than happy to accept more of this stress, though. Also, shameless plug for my YouTube, because I'm not busy enough. I got to add more content on top of this. for future Big Brain panel, how would lawsuits, court proceedings, etc. change if lawyers and courts were competent with technology and developed modern websites plus apps as opposed to Stone Age tools? Well, there are modern websites and apps. I can't angle this pop filter. I need to go back to my other one, but I'll raise it up a bit. There are modern websites and apps for lawyers. I demonstrated one on stream the other day, which uses a lot of AI learning and stuff like that. It's going to be very interesting to see. The tool that I was using actually checks your opponent's work. You still need a lawyer to look at it and understand what the checks mean and if they're relevant, but it does very quick checks on the briefs of your opponent on the crucial stuff, the law, the citations. And it also determines what you may have left out or what they may have left out. Camera's focused on the mic? Probably. Let me see if I can. If it's got an autofocus, I'll fix it. Oh, it's not autofocused. No, the camera's just here. So, all right. So yeah, there are modern websites and apps coming. The problem is the adoption process for these modern things takes a while because lawyers then have to train their staff on using them, and lawyers are bad at things, and then training their staff is bad at things. The people who really learn the modern apps and software are the people using it in law school. And then they come out of law school and then go into firms and they're like, look at all you old idiots. You're bad at everything. And they make everybody look bad with their research and stuff like that. Yeah, I use Westlaw. And particularly, I'm transitioning, hashtag don't at me, to Westlaw Edge, which is their new tool. I just have some negotiations to enter into with Westlaw because everything that lawyers do is negotiating. It's great. So yes. Anyway, thank you very much for the chats, Dragon's Treasure. I really am glad that you got a massive increase in sales, a nice boost from advertising on the channel. People want to check it out. If you didn't get a chance to order before, you can go check it out at thedragonstreasure.com. I believe he's got a discount going or something right now. So, and apparently if you mention me, you get a little extra gift. At least that's what he said last time. I don't know if that's still going on today, but go check it out. High quality teas, not a high quality teas, right? Like high quality tea that you drink. Plurals. Okay. Seculara says, just watched. Floyd wouldn't follow basic instructions and was actively resisting the entire time, so the escalation of the knee seemed to be his own doing. Then again, I've never tried a fentanyl and methamphetamine cocktail. Why not? You ain't living. You ain't living if you haven't tried it. Don't knock it till you try it either. Bad Vibes says, for being late, you must redeem yourself. Dinobots or Omega Supreme? Who's your favorite? Grimlock was always my favorite as a kid. I really liked Omega Supreme. Hilarious. Good voice on him as well. But Grimlock, man, always funny. First episodes of the Dinobots were weird, but Grimlock became a favorite, especially in the movie. Me, Grimlock, kick butt. Great. Good stuff. Grimlock need new strategy. Anyway, Takul says, start the Malort stream with a couple of slogans. Malort, when you need to unfriend someone in person. Malort, tonight's the night you fight your dad. Slag was good too, but Nyx Hex, 2 + 2 = X. Solve for X. Guys, did you see that? The 2 + 2 trash on Twitter? I wanted to scream. It's so stupid. So stupid. Long story short, someone came out and said, 2 plus 2 sometimes equals 5, which may harken back in your minds to the realm of 1984 with George Orwell, although that's not the point they were ostensibly making. They were stating, to summarize it, that your measurement of 2 might not be precise because your tool might not be precise enough to measure 2. So you basically have some extra amount that sometimes when you add 2 and you add 2, you get 5. Except that's not 2. That's 2 and something else. That's not 2. 2 is just 2. It's an integer. It's a whole number. If we're getting into real numbers, 2 point something is bigger than 2. There's more to it. Why? Why would there be more to this? Why would there be anything else to say about it? 2 plus 2 is always 4. Always. Literally never not 4. It's impossible to be other than 4. 2 and 2 is 4. Ugh. I hate everything. That's not 2. Oh. Oh my gosh. 2 plus 2 equals Malort. Yes. Nailed it. Nailed it. Yeah, there's I get that there's more to the story, but everyone arguing anything else should be hit in the face with a something sufficiently large, a sufficiently large value of sledgehammer. There you go. There you go. Thank you for enraging me, Nix Hex. I appreciate that very much. JC Gaming says, thanks for the laughs. Here's $20. Oh, thank you, JC Gaming. We're going to do... No, there will be Twitch tonight. Yes. Sorry, Meow Day. But thank you, JC Gaming, for the $20. More laughs to come as I torture myself through just 50 milliliters of Malort. Why? Why would I take any more than that initial sip? I don't know. I'm looking at it and regretting it. And I haven't even done it yet. I haven't even sniffed it since that initial sip. And I'm like, I already regret drinking the next sip. Batgoat says, Flash punked me out by not reading this on his Saturday stream. Boy, was I pissed. Here it is. Woke up at noon and went, what happened? Oh, yeah, was nasty beer and horrid movies till 6 a.m. Thanks, Nick. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Saturday? What were the movies Friday? Gosh, I don't remember. Yeah, Elvin Lead is weird, man. Very weird. Okay, Felipe Move says, you are going to make history. First streamer to die live on YouTube. It was a pleasure to have met you. That sounds oddly prophetic. I think he's referring to the Malort, but I think it's true later than that. Or it's true beyond that. Oh. All right. No, Ryan English, we're about to do the George Floyd. How you doing, buddy? How you doing? It's been a while since I've specifically seen your name in chat. You may have been here, but I noticed it right now. We're going to go through those. But before we do, I'm going to pour a sufficiently large portion of Malort, which is any. This is it. This is like 20 milliliters, maybe. God, I don't want to drink it. I don't know what to do. Oh. All right. Oh, it smells worse when you've tasted what the smell produces. Fireball is leagues better. Fireball is like a Fireball. I would pay $100 for a bottle of Fireball over a bottle of Malort. This is harder than eating a ghost pepper. Okay, here we go. I'm not gonna grimace. It's so good. It's so delicious. Mmm. Mmm. I love it. Ah. 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 Oh. Oh. Okay. You need to chase it with gasoline and a match is what you need to chase it with. All right, let's get George Floyd. He's got very flattering pictures up here. Sorry, you can see we've already in these screenshots got a little bit, just a mildly different narrative going on. These are great pauses. These are great pauses. Look at that. This guy looks like he's going to sell you some chocolate cigars or something. God, this is awful. So the interesting thing is, this is from Daily Mail. This is from the Daily Mail. This is not like a right-wing publication attempting to paint George Floyd in a bad light. This is the Daily Mail. Everybody in the UK is basically left of Stalin. I'm just kidding, but not much. And so to have them pick these screen grabs is a little bit telling, I think. So we're gonna. Okay. We're going to watch this video first. This is the initial stop. Now, this is about 8.5 minutes, and the next one's about 20 minutes. I don't know how much pausing we're going to do. Oh, Daily Mail's right wing? I mean, they're still left of Stalin, I would say. But anyway, I don't know how much pausing we'll do. It depends on what we see or what I see. I haven't watched it yet. This is live. We're doing it live. God, this Malort. Ah, ugh. I gotta pour the rest of it. We're gonna do the rest of it in one go. Oh, we'll do it in a little bit. Not yet. This is the rest of it, right here. The other 30 milliliters. Oh. Okay. Okay. Yuck. Hold on, I'm preparing. I'm just preparing something to counteract the Malort. My chaser will be this Lagavulin 12. Lagavulin 12 as a chaser. That will be... That will be much better. Suffer not the mutant to live. Burn the heretic. Hate the Xenos or whatever. And pity not the YouTube streamer. This is our sacred duty to you guys. Oh, God. Finally, I keep forgetting to do this. Before I get exposed on this, I have to be upfront. I have to be honest that I may have been hiding something from you guys this whole time, and I have to be honest about it. As you know, some big streamers out there are getting hit with this, and I gotta come out with it before I get hit. I don't want to get hit with this. I want to have a soft landing. You saw obviously the drama about Pokemon's boyfriend. I just wanted everybody to know that I am married. I know I may have kept that secret improperly, and to all of the men and women out there who were just giving me money for my jiggly personality and my bouncing and my makeup that makes me look Asian instead of Moroccan, and my cute gamer girl name, I am married, and I'm actually just a white man. I'm not an Asian woman. I'm good with makeup sometimes, but I'm just a white guy. So, sorry. I just need to get that out there. I don't want to be exposed on video unless it's on OnlyFans. That's the only place I want to be exposed. So. Okay. What's his name? Oh my goodness. All right, let's do this. Oh wait, you're going to be muted. I'm unboomering in real time. Audio, let me make sure this is the right audio output. I screwed it up earlier. Okay, here we go. So you can see they're filming a computer screen. This is great.
I see your hands.
Damn, man.
Stay in the car. Let me see your other hand.
I'm sorry.
Let me see your other hand.
Please,
Both hands.
do nothing.
Put your hands up right now. Let me see your other hand. Put your hand up there. Put your hand up there. Hands on the wheel. Hands on the wheel.
Okay. Real quick, right off the bat. Yeah, it is hard to see his right hand. It's apparently why the officer pulled the gun. That makes some sense. I don't know that the hostility is warranted at this point. He did seem to be surprised when the officers pulled up. But that doesn't mean that the officers are or aren't in danger. I don't have an ultimate problem with the gun being drawn. I want to be clear on that. I was confused about it at first. Because the first time we're looking from a vehicle that's behind, there's no audio, and we see a gun being drawn very quickly. I don't want to have a gun drawn on me, and I'm sure Floyd didn't want that either. He even says, I got shot. Referencing a different time where he was shot, apparently. Since he wasn't shot this time, he was kneed, proving that guns are non-lethal and human body parts are. It's a joke. Anyway, but now that sheds some light on what was going on in this interaction.
I'm sorry, brother.
Officers in the car.
Put
your foot back in.
I'm sorry. God dang, man. I got shot the same way as I was before.
Okay, well, when I say let me see your hands, you put your hands up.
I mean, both of his hands are up. His hands have been up.
Put your hands on top of your head.
Last time I got shot like that, I was
Hands on top of your head. Hands on top of your head.
Now, to be fair, that would be a little traumatic, right? If he's actually been shot for the same thing, that would be a mess. That would be a mess.
Step out of the vehicle and step away from me, all right? Step out and face away. Step out and face away.
Please don't shoot me. Please, man.
I'm not gonna shoot you. Step out and face away.
I'm gonna get out of here, man. Please don't shoot me, man. Please, man. I just lost my mom, man.
Step out and face away.
Now, the interesting thing is, they have not informed him, and we know that they don't. They don't for several minutes. They haven't informed him why he needs to step out of the vehicle, why they've approached the car. The officers here have broken protocol. They've actually broken protocol in that way. He has no idea what's going on. They have approached him in a place where he has privacy. You are allowed to be in your car. You are. And unless you're actually infracting, you don't, he isn't responding in a way, but they haven't justified in any way their otherwise lawful order. He doesn't know why he needs to step out of the car. He doesn't know why he's had a gun pulled on him. He doesn't know why why he's opened the door to cops. He has no idea. And that is a problem. It doesn't mean, unfortunately, the way these things work out is it depends on how the situation ultimately unfolded. If they don't tell him within a sufficient amount of time, that could impact his case. But really, if they tried to nail him for resisting arrest based on this early interaction, they haven't even told him what is going on or why he needs to comply with their orders. They haven't asked him to identify himself. They haven't done any of the initial steps of the procedure. So this is actually a problem for the cops. I know people are saying just comply, and that's true. That's practical good advice, is to comply with the police officers so you don't get shot. That's good advice. But at this point, his rights are being infringed by these cops. They are. Not in some egregious way where he needs to have a lawsuit and win and all that stuff. But if a cop came up to you, most people, many people, I think, who maybe haven't been shot by the cops, or if they've had very limited or good experiences with the cops, they would say, yeah, what's going on? You'd ask, like, I'm fine getting out of the car, but I would like to know why. Like, what seems to be the trouble, officer? Officer comes up. Do you know why I pulled you over? Do you know why I stopped you? Do you know why you're here? No. Please tell me. I was doing 108. No, please tell me. And they will then inform you what should have happened, or what reason they have to make a lawful stop. At this point, in a regular stop, you should know whether you're being detained, because you should know not only that you're not free to leave, but you should have an idea of why you're not free to leave. So this is bad on the cops here, but again, this doesn't mean much at this point in the interaction.
Step out and face away.
Please don't shoot me, Mr. Officer. Please don't shoot me, man.
Step out and face away.
You're not shooting me, man.
I'm not shooting. Step out and face away.
Okay.
They're also, of course, on the other side, these officers are noticing very erratic and strange behavior from this guy. But I would say, like, if he's telling the truth, and I have no idea if he is, if he was actually shot by a cop before, that would explain it. But they don't know that. They don't know that. So they're noticing strange and erratic behavior. And of course, it could be involved with the drugs as well. I don't know what his tolerance is for the drugs that are in his system. I don't know anything about that. And these cops certainly don't know any of that either. They're noticing very erratic behavior. But yeah, let's keep going.
Please, man. Please. I didn't know, man.
Get out of the car.
I didn't know, Mr. Officer. I didn't know.
Right now.
That was interesting. I don't know if you heard it, but you heard someone say stop resisting, and it was not a cop. So that was one of Floyd's companions, who apparently said that. One of the women he was with, it sounded like. So probably the chick in the passenger seat. So she says she's resisting, or she even notices his resistance. And I think this is true. We've seen the far away footage of Floyd dealing with the cop at this point, and he was resisting actively with his arms to the cuffing. Again, they really shouldn't be cuffing him at this point. He has, without informing him of why they're restraining him, they should be disclosing that information. There's no emergency or urgency that I would suggest that these cops have that would prevent them from telling him what's going on. Like, we're arresting you, or we are temporarily detaining you because of this. We just want to ask you some questions, and we need to ensure our safety. These are things that cops say to people when they stop them. When they do something other than go up to their window that's rolled down. If you're being pulled out of the car and restrained for your safety and the officer's safety, that's fine. The police should be announcing that. They should be telling you what's going on. They haven't done that here.
Stop moving. Put your hand behind your back then. I'm not gonna do nothing. Forward.
Jim's over home.
Hey, you come back. Stay in the car.
So they're placing the cuffs on him.
Yes, you are.
There's an interesting thing here. One thing you'll notice, which is very, very common with police encounters with people, is the police will often say, "Stop resisting," and the alleged perpetrator will say, "I'm not," and that's because what's going on up here doesn't always translate to here in a high stress situation. So a lot of times, and you can test this on people, go up to someone and just move their, like if you put them in a high stress situation and start moving their arms and trying to, they'll resist it, right? Like you pull someone's hands behind them and try and put their arms together, their body, that's unnatural, and their body naturally will resist it. So, there's a disconnect in perception between what's going on. I think a lot of times people genuinely aren't trying to resist. They aren't trying to resist, but their body's going through a bunch of different things in that scenario that is, they may not be fully aware of their circumstances at the time. So here we go.
Stand up.
Against the wall. Yes.
What I doing?
We're figuring out what's going on. Drop the bag.
Figure out what's going on. Adam,
What's the problem?
We was getting a ride. I just got my phone.
Okay, notice what happened there. You get on the wall, you stay there, drop the bag. For what? We're figuring out what's going on. Wrong answer. Bad answer. This is a bad answer from a cop again. And these guys are new cops. This is why these are bad answers. They're new cops. But that is a terrible, terrible answer. And if you guys were in this situation, you should be similarly angry at what's going on. You should be at this point, none of these people know why they are all, those two, by the way, for Fourth Amendment purposes, are under arrest at this point. They have been told to stay in place. They've been given an order to stay in place. The one person has been ordered to drop their bag, to surrender something that they have a full lawful right to possess. They are under arrest for the purposes of the Fourth Amendment. And all of these officers, all of the things that they need to do, Floyd, of course, was cuffed. He is also under arrest for the purposes of the Fourth Amendment. He is engaged in a Fourth Amendment seizure. All of the things the officers need to do change the moment you go from an investigatory stop to an actual arrest. Different things need to happen. Different rights are invoked, and different procedures need to be in place from the police, and they aren't following them right now. I don't even know this guy. I'm just getting a ride. These people are hilarious, though. Look, whatever it is, it's him. It's not me. I didn't do nothing. I have no idea. I don't even know him. I never met this guy. What's his name? Is that Billy? His name must be Billy.
That's it, man. You can ask Mr. Adam about me.
You have ID?
I'm on 38
Why? Why do you need my ID? Now, you are required to identify yourself after a lawful, in a lawful detention. You are not required to identify yourself if you're not detained. So this is an interesting thing. If a cop says, hey, give me your ID, you can say, peace, fam, and start walking. If he tells you to stop, you're detained. You're under arrest at that point. And then you are required to give your identification, proper, complete identification for a lawful stop, a lawful arrest, a lawful detention, whatever you want to call it. When I say arrest, I mean for Fourth Amendment purposes, not we're going downtown purposes. So once that happens, and you have to identify yourself, you are required to do so. If the arrest is lawful, at this point on those people, I have no idea why they're under arrest. I have no idea what probable cause the officer has to arrest those two in any capacity. I got nothing. I don't even know what reasonable suspicion they have. They haven't articulated anything at this point. And this is, I see someone said that this behavior from cops is not awful. It's not awful, but it's also not acceptable. But we do accept it over and over and over again. We give cops a ton of leeway on this stuff because at the end of the day, your rights weren't violated that hard. They weren't violated that much. But we're not talking about whether or not their rights are violated enough for it to be worth like a big 1983 civil rights action or a 1983 claim or anything like that. We're talking about whether or not your rights are infringed at all. And in this case, all three of their rights are still being infringed. Now, they can rectify that by informing them, and they will to Floyd in about 3 minutes.
I just came to bought a tablet. When I bought a tablet, it didn't work. Oh my God. He didn't even do nothing.
Exactly.
Do you have ID?
No, I don't. My name's Shawan Hill. Sir. I just came over to get my phone. See, I don't have a purse or nothing. And my daughter is on her way to get me.
What's the deal?
I don't know. Sir. That's my ex. I don't know.
Why is he getting all squirrely?
That's my ex. 2 seconds ago, she didn't know him at all. No, Diamond Duck, I'm going off of earlier reports. I haven't watched this, but I believe it was about six to 6.5 minutes into the interaction where they finally tell Floyd what's going on. So that's what I'm going off of there.
You're not showing some hands and just being all weird like that.
Because he's been shot before.
Well, I get that, but still, when officers say get out of the car, is he drunk? Is he on something?
Oh, he got a thing going on. I'm telling you
What
about
does
the
that mean?
police. They have problems all the time when they come, especially when that man took that gun like that. It's been one.
Good point, right? I mean, they're telling the officer, look, he's been shot before. He has a thing going on. Is he on drugs? They say no. Of course, the toxicology report disagrees, but we're not at the point of a toxicology report in the interaction. Is he on drugs? No, he has a thing. He was shot, especially when someone points a gun at him. He has, basically saying he has a reaction to that. So these are just things, again, this isn't legally relevant, really. This is just trying to get into the mind of everybody involved.
What's your first name?
He's pretty good. George Floyd.
What is it?
He's a good guy. George Floyd, she said. Oh, ouchie,
What,
man.
are you on something right now?
No, nothing. Because you acting erratic.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Go.
Man. Yes. Yes, I was just moving earlier.
Let's go.
I was just hooping earlier.
All right, let me calm down now. This is a little better.
So they skipped.
Okay,
They skipped a big chunk of it. Maybe it'll be in the other one, but they skipped a chunk while he was on the wall because I believe that's where they told him, but maybe not. I don't know. Sorry. We'll go. But that was an annoying video cut. He was on that wall for several minutes in the security cam footage.
No, when we get to the car, let's get to the car, man. Come on.
Hey, man. Oh, man. God, don't leave me, man. Don't leave me, man.
Here. I want to watch that car too, so get a miss.
Stop falling down.
Okay, so that's where he will probably see this on the other officer's body cam. He has fallen down. The guy said, "Stop falling down." That's where he said, "I'm claustrophobic." That's the first time I've heard him say something like that. So I just wanted to point it out in case you have, in case you've missed it.
Stay on your feet and face the car door.
You get a seat on him?
Please, get out the door, man. I just want to talk to you, man. Please, let me talk to you. Please. You ain't listening to nothing. I know. So we're not going to listen to nothing you're saying.
Can you watch that car? Just make sure no one goes in it.
Okay, so the other officers have arrived.
Door right now. Listen up. Stop.
I don't do anything. That's anything y'all tell me to do, man. I'm not a resistor, man. I'm not. And ask him. He told me here,
Check that side.
God, man, I'm gonna do nothing like that, y'all. Why is it going on like this? I'm not that kind of guy.
The other side.
Mr. Officer, I'm not that kind of guy.
Stop.
Please. I'm not that kind of guy, Mr. Officer. Please.
Face away.
Please, man. Don't leave me by myself, man. Please. Claustrophobic. That's it.
Oh, you're still going in the car.
Anything sharp on you? I won't do nothing to hurt y'all, Mr. Officer. No, sir. I don't have nothing. Why y'all doing me like that, Mr. Officer? Please, crack it for me and stuff, man. I am claustrophobic for real, Mr. Officer.
Adam?
Can you please crack it for me? Please.
Yes, I'll
Remember my
crack
name.
it.
Stay with me,
I will.
man.
I will.
Please stay with me, man. Thank you.
Okay, so you asked him to crack the window. Crack the window because he's claustrophobic. So it's interesting because the claustrophobia thing was framed as him not wanting to get in the car at all, and it might manifest into that. But at this point, he's asking for a cracked window and for the officer to stay with him. So we'll see how this plays out.
None of y'all, man. Nothing.
You got it?
Inside in your pocket real quick on your shirt. I'm listening. I understand that people stuff.
Alright, he's good. There's guns, whatever. There's nothing working.
Okay.
Grab a seat.
Okay.
I'll roll the windows down, okay?
Take a seat. I'm going in, Mr. Officer. I'm going in. No, you're not. I gotta go in. Take a seat. Why y'all don't believe me, Mr. Officer? Take a seat. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not that kind of guy, man. Take a seat. Y'all, I'm gonna die here. Take a seat. I'm gonna die, man. You need to take a seat right now. And I just had COVID, man. I don't want to go back to that.
Okay, I'll roll the windows down. Hey, listen.
Dang, man.
Listen.
I'm not that kind of guy.
I'll roll the windows down and
Please,
you put your
man.
legs in, alright? I'll
Y'all
put the air on.
God, look at that. Look at that.
Not even listening.
Look at it.
We can fix it, but not while you're standing out here.
Okay, man. God, y'all do me bad, man. Man, I don't want to try to win. I don't want to win. I'm claustrophobic. I got anxiety. I don't want to do nothing to them.
I'll roll the window down.
Man, I'm scared.
Okay.
When I start breathing, it's going to go off on me, man.
Pull your legs in.
Okay. Let me count to three. I'm going in. Please. Hey, I'm not trying to win. I get on the ground, anything. I can't stand this, man. You know it. You get in this car, we can talk. I'm claustrophobic. I'm hearing you, but you're not working with me. God, I'm claustrophobic, man.
Well, come on over here. I'm going to pull.
I wish I knew who was yelling at him. I don't know, because Chauvin has walked up. So I don't know if Chauvin's talking. I don't know if the other officer is the guy. I know it's not the guy with the camera that's talking. So I want to know who's got the excited voice. It could, if it's the guy who's with him, that makes sense, because he's been dealing with him for a little bit, and I'm with it. If it's Chauvin walking up, then he's instigating a situation, and I just don't know. It's annoying to me.
Get in the car. In the front? No, you're not getting in the front. I'm not get in the car. Okay, man. Okay. I'm not a bad guy, man. Get in the car. I'm not a bad guy. Man. Please, officer. Please, please. Take a seat. Please, man. Please. Oh, no. Take a seat. I can't choke. I can't breathe, officer. Please. Please. Fine. My wrist, man. My wrist, man, please. I can't take this, man. I can't. I'm on the ground. I'm on the ground. I'm on the ground.
Get in the squad.
I'm on the ground. I'm on the ground. I'm going down. I'm going down. I'm going down. Squad. I'm going down. I'm going down. I'm not going to breathe. I know I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Get to my oxygen. I'm back over, man. I can't breathe.
Okay, so that's the end of the first video here. Some interesting stuff going on there. He says, I'm going down. I want to go on the ground. I'm going to go on the ground. The question I still have on this. He said he can't breathe from the claustrophobia. So that him not being able to breathe doesn't really, I don't know if he was ever saying it because of the neck stuff. It doesn't really matter what he's saying I can't breathe because of. The question becomes, again, why is he being restrained on the ground in this way? One thing he hasn't tried to do is leave. That's kind of so that's a weird question that I've got. I hope we get some more context from the other guy's video, but what part of that we're going to have to find out what merits the restraint on the back of the neck, because leg restraints to the neck need to follow some pretty specific guidelines to be employed, and they should be short. And I'm not sure what the purpose of this neck restraint is. And that is ultimately going to be the question. He just kicked his way out the other side of the cop car. He didn't kick his way. They literally dragged him. And then he laid down and was halfway out and kind of wiggled out. I mean, I don't know if that's a kick. We'll see. Here's the longer video. But first, we need two things. We need a brief pause because I need to go to the bathroom. And then when I get back, I'm going to drink this remainder of Malort. And then I'm going to hate my life for just a minute. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. A couple things. So anyone who's discussing like the medical history of George Floyd and all of that stuff, this is going to sound weird, but outside of some very specific instances, George Floyd's medical history, the presence of drugs in his system, stuff like that is outside of the officer's knowledge. So no matter what has come back later about Floyd, his people have brought up his violent criminal past and stuff like that. That's fine for you to make a social judgment about George Floyd. I don't know the guy. I don't care. His life was literally meaningless to me before this and will be meaningless to me afterwards. Just like anybody else's that I don't know. You're just a person. That being said, the cops don't know any of this at the time. So all we can do, and all a jury and all of that stuff will be able to do, is to assess the propriety of the police officer's actions based on what's happening, not based on what later was discovered about some other condition. And that's important to realize. It doesn't mean that everything they're doing is bad or anything like that. And it doesn't mean that they have to take him at his word that he's claustrophobic. They can certainly argue that they believed he's on drugs, and they will. They will argue that he seems to be in an excited state. People have called it excited delirium and all that stuff. A bunch of people who don't know anything about excited delirium, self-included, will determine on the internet whether or not he was in it. Experts will come in and testify on that, and that'll be that argument. That's fine. But you got to remember what the jury in the courtroom is doing. The jury in the courtroom's job is to assess the officer's actions based on what is happening in the present. The only time Floyd's medical or toxicological history matters is if those are determined to be an intervening cause. If they're not the proximate cause of his death, someone said he overdosed. I haven't seen a toxicology report that concluded that George Floyd overdosed. There isn't one right now that concludes that. They may get an independent expert to testify to that, but right now, as the evidence stands, and we're very early on, so take this for what it means, they can't introduce evidence that George Floyd overdosed because there isn't evidence that he overdosed. They can introduce evidence that there were intoxicants in his system at these amounts. And they can get an expert to come in and talk about what those intoxicants might do at those amounts. But right now, they do not have medical expert testimony to say George Floyd overdosed. Right now, they don't have medical expert testimony to say that George Floyd went under cardiac arrest. They just have what's in the coroner's reports. Now, again, they can bring in their own medical experts who can look over the reports and make their own assessments. They can do that. But that's how evidence works in a criminal trial. And so these guys will have to raise that. The prosecutor will challenge it. And Minnesota has a very specific test for who wins out on experts, and they'll go through all of that process. But again, the amount of things that they'll be able to say from the criminal justice perspective will be limited to what they can show as admissible evidence. And that's a hard thing to remember when we're looking back on these things in hindsight. But that is what the lawyers are going to be looking for. It's also important to remember where this evidence came from. These two videos are from the lawyers of the rookie cops, Lane and Kung. These two videos were submitted for the purposes of exonerating Lane and Kung and nothing else. Their lawyers picked these video clips of the body cam footage to suggest that the charges against them need to be dismissed. And so far, I think I don't think that those guys are guilty of murder at all. Lane Kung and Tu Tao or whatever, I don't think that murder charges are appropriate for them. I don't think accessory to murder charges are appropriate to them. I don't think any of that was appropriate. There may have been an excessive force. I honestly think Chauvin is the main guy. Maybe they could peg an accessory to manslaughter type charge on one or two of them based on their specific actions. I haven't seen it. I think Chauvin, the second degree murder charge and the third degree murder charge and second degree manslaughter charges are appropriate charges for them to be facing. Whether or not they'll get the conviction, that remains to be seen. But all of this talk about, oh yeah, drugs in his system, he died from this, that's not in the evidence right now. So you've got to keep that in mind as we're if you want to assess this from a legal perspective. If you don't, if you want to just make determinations about the propriety of what Floyd was doing, the propriety of the police, go ahead. Like, that's cool. This is a legal themed channel. So if you're wondering about my commentary specific to this situation and why I'm focusing on certain things, I'm looking for these elements going on. I'm looking for what can be actually admissible at trial, and what they'll be arguing about. And that's what I'm trying to bring to this discussion. So just so you guys know, that's where I'm at with all of this. But yeah, it's also, I was thinking about that while I went to the bathroom, is I should remind people that these two body cam footages are released for these two officers by their attorneys for the purposes of securing a dismissal. And frankly, from what I've seen of the two officers, I'm hesitant on any charges on them. I'm hesitant. I think the charges against Chauvin, especially as a senior officer on the scene, that's where I'm stuck right now. The Bad Burrito says, as an engineer that took too many math classes to not come out autistic, the lawyer beats law Twitter again at math. 2 + 2 is always 4. Just line 17 unappealed cases, or just like 17 unappealed cases never equal 17 cases completely 1 out of 0. Thank you, Bad Burrito, for the backup. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's check this second video and see if it shows us more of the interaction. It's 10 minutes longer, so it'll take 40 minutes longer to get through. But are you ready? This is the rest of the Malort. My body's actually rejecting this. God, I don't want to drink this. Ah! Ah! Oh! Oh! I never want to drink that ever again. Please, man. I ain't like that. I'm not that kind of guy. Oh. Oh. I can't read. No-Go. Very good question from No-Go in the chat. He asked, would the prosecution have to prove that he intended to kill with his knee? The prosecution has a couple charges. They have to prove that he either intended to kill Floyd or that he intentionally assaulted Floyd, think excessive force, and that assault is the proximate cause of his death, and that was a felony level assault. So that that's the second degree murder, both of those. And I think those are both bad charges. Hold on. That's better. Not much, but it's a little better. So that's for the second-degree murder charge. For the third-degree murder charge, which is a lesser included offense to second-degree murder, and they can make the arguments for it, they have to prove that Derek Chauvin created a situation that was dangerous to George Floyd's life with reckless disregard for the life of George Floyd and with a depraved mind. Okay? Basically, that he created circumstances with a depraved mind. That's what makes it murder, not manslaughter. So that he was so callous that he would create a situation with no regard for Floyd's safety, and that situation ended up killing him. All right? That's what they would have to prove for third-degree murder. Second-degree manslaughter is a step down from that. That he merely negligently or recklessly created a situation, but without the depraved mind that resulted in the death of George Floyd. So, negligent regard for the safety of another and causing their death. I think the manslaughter charge is, from what I've seen on Chauvin, is likely to stick. I think a third-degree murder charge is certainly possible. I think a second-degree murder charge at this point is out of the question. Oh, okay. God, that is a filthy, disgusting beverage. Okay. And how would that be considered if the knee hold is part of the training? It's if he appropriately applied the knee hold, which, according to the book, manuals are not perfect, but according to the manual, he did not appropriately apply a knee restraint to George Floyd's neck. And if that's the question, if Chauvin appropriately applied a knee restraint according to the training manual, Chauvin goes to prison. I want that to be very clear. It's more complicated than that. But if that were the only question, I'll tell you right now he goes to prison. Man, they got a fancy little camera going here. Something really... Remember, this was not allowed. This is an unlawful recording of this. Show the bill. Oh, God, I want to show the bill. As a side note, do you guys ever feel, since body cams hang like in the midsection, you ever feel like you're like an Oompa Loompa when you're watching one? Like, hello, I'm following the tall people.
All right.
God, this guy, you could tell he thinks he's committing a crime right now recording this. Good Lord. By the way, George Floyd had a gun pointed at him. He's having trouble breathing. This dude is recording a laptop in a courthouse, and he's like... under arrest at that point. Very interesting. I just point that out because it's an interesting Fourth Amendment question. The point he says, you're going to stay right there, and issues a command to stay in place, that's arrest. You guys need to know that. You guys need to know that because your rights change when you're under arrest. You no longer have to answer questions. By the way, at the point you're under arrest, you should never consent to a search when you're under arrest. And 2, the moment you're under arrest, you suddenly have a 6th Amendment right to an attorney. And you have a 5th Amendment right to remain silent. The second a police officer issues a command for you to stop. Also, any searches that they are doing have to be justified by probable cause or your consent. So that's why you don't consent. The moment he says stop, halt, freeze, you're under arrest for the purposes of 4th Amendment. This is now a seizure for 4th Amendment purposes, and they have to justify it with probable cause and a warrant or a valid exception to the warrant requirement. Most people don't realize this. Again, what is their exception to the warrant requirement for arrest on this guy, on the guy in the passenger side? What probable cause do they have to effect arrest of that guy is a good question. He bought a laptop, and he did buy it, but it wasn't working. So he gave me my change back. Look, man, I just went to the store. I bought a laptop, and then I got it out, and it wasn't working. Like, I don't know what that happened. The audio is just really low. It's really low. That's why I'm mentioning some of this stuff. If anything relevant gets said, I'll do it. I can't turn it up. It's this low. It's this low. I do not have the audio muted. It's that low. Just so you know, I could try and, I mean, I can't, taking off the limiter wouldn't help. It's not hitting the limiter. So here we go. It's not the noise gate, or anything like that. I don't think. Just in case, I'll drop the noise gate and noise suppression to 0. But no, it's really quiet. It's quiet for me too.
Okay, do you have your ID on you? How you doing, sir? I'm good. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Please, man. I appreciate that. Please. I didn't know, man. Adam knows, bro. Stay here. You take a seat in that car. Stay in the car. Yes, sir. Stop moving. Put your hands behind your back then. I'm not going to do nothing. Face in the floor. Hey, you come back. Stay in the car. Stop resisting, man. Yes, you are. Stand up. Please, man. Stand up for me. I want to go back. Stand up. I want to go back, man. I ain't gonna do that. That's wrong, man. Come on, walk with me. Walk with me. Walk with me. Stand up. Why you doing me like this? Stand up. Come on. We're trying to get out of the street here so you don't get hit by a car.
I just want to point out that the courthouse has absolute shit laptops for them to use. What are these, like little 13-inch? The bezels are thicker than Iggy Azalea. Like, what the fuck? What are these? What are these $100 Chromebook laptops they're using? Jesus.
Take a seat. Sit down for me. Thank you, man. Thank you, Mr.
Yep, sit down.
Thank you, man. God.
Sit all the way down.
Yes,
Flatten
sir.
your feet out.
Yes, sir. I will. Please, man. Please. Please, man.
You got an ID on you?
I got one at home.
All right, what's your name?
George.
George?
George Perry Floyd. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're not laptops, by the way. I think they're HP. They're not MacBooks. Sorry. I think they're HP laptops. You can occasionally see a little logo flash in the middle, but they're clearly running Windows. Although it would be stupid enough for the court to order MacBooks and run Windows on them. That would be a proper expenditure of government funds.
Man, that's it.
Spell it for me.
G-E-O.
Yep.
R-G-E.
Last name?
Floyd. Yes, man.
Teach your kids to G-E-O-R G.
F-L-O-I-D.
F-L-O-Y-D?
Yes.
Date of birth?
Yeah, it's an HP. Look at that. It's a netbook, y'all.
Man, I got shot last time. Hey, man.
If you mind doing me a favor, just run this
Nah,
back for me.
man.
George Floyd. Thank you.
I ain't looking for those. I don't want no problem. I ain't looking for nothing.
Man, you know why we're here?
Why?
We're here because it sounds like you gave a fake bill to the individuals in there.
There we go. There we go. They finally mentioned it. Thank goodness they mentioned it. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yes.
And you know why we pulled you out of the car? Because you was not listening to anything we told you.
I didn't know what was going on.
You listened to us and we will tell you what's going on.
But I didn't know what was going on. That's a legit response from George. I gotta say, you listen to us and we'll tell you what's going on. But you didn't. You didn't, though. You didn't until after you removed him, till you brought him over to this other place. Then you told him. So, God, this is, again, it's not like this egregious violation that means that he gets a civil rights or a 1983 award for millions of dollars. Nothing like that. It's just, this is the disconnect in policing with people, is that if you don't tell us, the civilians or citizens who have a literal right to exist, and you are the state infringing upon it, we have to know why you're infringing upon our rights. We actually are entitled to that explanation, and we're entitled to it early. Anyway, there was a chat from Bad Vibes says, okay, would prior knowledge of criminal activity by the others being in the vehicle and association at the time of trying to pass in counterfeit bills be enough for suspicion? With dispatch systems, they have a database for that. They don't know that. Okay. Prior knowledge of the criminal activity by the others being in the vehicle, but they don't know if they have any knowledge of it. And no, it might be enough. It might be enough reasonably articulable suspicion that criminal activity is afoot for a Terry stop, which is a stop and frisk, an investigatory stop. Those have to be short. Those have to be specific, and they have to be conducted very quickly. And the cop has to be able to articulate the criminal activity that they suspect. And the search incident to a Terry stop is a investigatory pat down to make sure that the cop won't die. It's a stop and frisk. That's all it is. As for whether or not, I mean, they may rise to the level of a Terry stop in this situation. They certainly don't have probable cause to search and arrest the other two people at this point. They know, and the reason it's a Terry stop is Terry versus Ohio is the name of the case. But they know that George Floyd's the guy. They seem to know George Floyd's the guy. They seem to have the probable cause for him, but not the Terry, the other two people. Sorry.
All right, when you're moving around like that, that makes us think way more is going on than we need to know. Right.
That, by the way, a police officer cannot develop probable cause based on their own failure to act. Like, in this case, they probably have probable cause because of the report of the counterfeit bill. But saying, you moving around makes us think that way more is going on. Nope, not how it works. That is not at all how it works. The cops cannot interfere in your life, cause you to change your otherwise regular behavior, and then blame you for that change. You can't do that. That is not lawful behavior from the police.
And that's all I had was gotcha, all right. We're going to put you in the back of a squad, all right? Yeah, we're going to sort all this out, all right? That's your car key? It's my sister. Key fob right there? Yes, sir. I got one problem. Yeah, I'm going to hold on to that for you, all right? Stand up. All right. I was so messing with us. I was like, right now, I'm like, yeah, and look at you still able to reach your side. You're making me nervous.
He is swole as hell, by the way. Those veiny arms. I just wanted to point that out. You're making me nervous. He's cuffed. He's restrained. What's he making you nervous with? Reaching with his cuffed hands? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I got you. We'll fix all that. We'll fix all that, but you gotta walk with me. Are you on something right now? No, nothing. Because you acting real erratic. Man, I'm scared, man. God, you got foam around your mouth, too? Yes. Yes, I was just open earlier. Okay. All right, let me keep going down now. This is a little better now. All right, okay. And we gonna talk about that once we get to the car. Stop moving around. Oh, man. God, don't leave me, man. Please, man, don't leave me, man. Oh, please don't leave me, man. Yeah, just unlock the door for me. I read it, man. Stand up. Stop falling down. I'm claustrophobic, man. Stand up. I'm claustrophobic. Stay on your feet and face the car door.
Now we have some continuity with the other video.
Keep the door open. Keep the door open. No. Man, you ain't listening to nothing we're saying, so we're not going to listen to nothing you're saying. I'm claustrophobic. Face the door. I hear you, but you are going to face this door right now. Stop. I don't do anything. I don't believe you got anything, man. I'm not a resistor, man. I'm not. You know you.
That thick booty. Just kidding. Just kidding. Socialism is for Fig says, I've had people reach for my firearm cuffed behind the back. It happens. The suspect is not fully harmless cuffed. Yeah, I know. But it's pretty tough to pull a firearm and get shot. I'm not saying it doesn't happen and that they shouldn't be concerned about it, but
Sit still. I'm not that kind of guy. Please. I'm not that kind of guy, please. God. Please, man. Don't leave me by myself, man. Please. I'm claustrophobic. That's it. Anything sharp on you? I won't do nothing to hurt y'all. Do you have anything sharp on you? Sir. Not even like a comb or nothing? No, I'm nothing. Stand up straight. Got him? You please back it from me, please. Yes, I'll back it. I will. Please stay with me, man. Thank you. God, man. I didn't know all this was going to happen, man. Please, man. I just want my hand free. don't do none of y'all, man. Nothing.
Hey, you get that inside in the pocket real quick on your side?
I don't know if you guys noticed. I just saw there's a blur on the bottom right. There's a blur on the bottom right, blurring out the exact time. Because what they did was against the court order. That's great. They blurred out the time and information on the bottom right of the screen. Good job.
Hey, I'm listening, and I understand that people do stuff, and y'all don't know me.
Take a seat.
Okay.
Why are you having trouble walking?
Because my hands are hurt. Please, man. Please don't do that.
Take a seat.
I'm going in.
No, you're not.
I gotta go in.
Take a seat. Grab a seat, man.
Why y'all don't believe me, Mr. Officer?
Take a seat.
I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not that kind of guy, man.
Take a seat.
No, I'm a diabetic.
Take a
I'm
seat.
a die, man.
You need to take a seat right now.
And I just had COVID, man. I don't want to go back to that.
Take a seat. Roll the windows
No.
down. Hey, listen.
Dang, man.
Listen.
I'm not that kind of guy.
I think there's some relevance to the I just had COVID thing. If I'm Floyd's lawyer and he lives through this, right? As opposed to I'm defense attorney for the cops. You guys are talking about these close-up interactions in this enclosed space being so damn risky. This guy just had COVID. He doesn't want to have something happen, etc. He's scared. We have created a culture of fear. I would be making that argument as part of my overall strategy if I were Floyd's lawyer and he had lived through this encounter and we're arguing about stuff. I absolutely would be making that argument. That, remember, and this is important, the authority, the state, has created the fear around COVID. The authority has created the fear around COVID. I would say that would raise his general level of apprehension. Absolutely, I would make that argument. And you should too. And you should too. How would I defend Chauvin, Nick? I am planning on doing a defense of Chauvin video when I get sufficient video evidence to talk about Chauvin's actions specifically. That's what I'm waiting for. I want to do that video. I want to be fair to Chauvin as a criminal defense attorney. And again, I'm open with you guys about my biases. I think that Chauvin's kneeling on the neck of Floyd, whether or not it was justified, was too long, and too long to the point of being reasonably the cause of George Floyd's death. And a sufficient intervening cause to George Floyd's death. Even if he was having some excited cardiopulmonary reactions, I think that the knee on the neck exacerbated it. I think it exceeded the level of force based on what I've seen. I think it exceeded the level of force that was required. I think it was held for too long. I think it went outside of the training protocols. And I think that Chauvin is probably guilty of third-degree murder based on the evidence that I've seen. But I want to formulate a defense of Derek Chauvin video. I just need more stuff. This video might have it. I don't know if we'll get there or not. Otherwise, I have to wait for Chauvin's body cam footage to be released and stuff like that. So that's what I'm waiting for. But I absolutely am going to do one.
Roll the windows down and point your leg.
It's important to remember that as a defense attorney, I'm sympathetic to the cops and I want the full process for them here as well. I'm sympathetic to their position. And I do think the other three officers, I think they should be in the clear on all of these ridiculous charges. If they wanted to charge them for some sort of negligent injury or something like that, maybe. But I don't know that they did it. I pin it on Chauvin's bad actions.
Y'all, stop. Look at that.
Look, you're not even listening.
Look at it.
We can fix it, but not while you're standing out here.
Hey, man. God, y'all do me bad, man. Man, I don't want to try to win. I don't want to win.
Socialism for Figs says, this guy got a folded flag. The officer should now get off just based on that alone. This guy is terrible. What are you talking about? This guy got a folded flag.
I'm just a moment. I got
Tag me in the comment. I don't know what you mean by that. Are you talking about a tattoo or something?
Okay. Let me go to 3 and I'm going in. Please. Please, I'm not trying to win. I'm not trying to win. I'll get on the ground.
Okay, that's interesting. We now see it's a guy on the street who's saying, you can't win, you can't win. And he's saying, I'm not trying to win. I didn't know what he was responding to. Floyd got a military burial? Oh my God, why? Oh, that's not Floyd's fault, y'all. Trust me. If Floyd wanted, if Floyd had the choice between I want to live and I want to be buried with military honors, he would have chosen to live. That's a 900-year-old disgusting swamp hag, Nancy Pelosi. That's a different thing. That's not, you can't judge Floyd on that. He would have chosen breathing over a flag, I'm guessing. I'm guessing. All right, here we go. Oh, that was a satire story? All right, I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
No, anything. I get in the car. He know it. He know it too, Mr. Officer. Y'all hear me? Don't do me like that, man.
Get in the car.
Okay, can I talk to you, please?
Yes, you get in this car. We can talk.
I am, but I'm claustrophobic.
I'm hearing you, but you're not working with me.
God, I'm claustrophobic, man.
Get in the car.
Okay, real quick, I had asked in the previous video who was talking, and I think it is this officer talking, so it's not Chauvin. That's important for Chauvin's case, because if it was Chauvin coming up and yelling at Floyd, I think that would go against him. You could argue that he came into the situation heated. He already lacked a regard for Floyd's safety and well-being, all of that stuff. You could start to make that argument. That's the only reason I paused, is because I remembered asking in the other video who was talking, but I think it's the officer who's recording at this point.
Get in the car.
In the front? Please.
No, you're not getting in the front.
I'm claustrophobic, so
Get in the car.
Okay, man, okay? I'm not a bad guy, man.
Get in the car.
I'm not a bad guy.
Okay, so he shoves him in the car. Not a bad shove. Don't read into that.
Please, man. Please.
They're trying to get cooperation on this.
I can't choke. I can't breathe, officer. Please. Please. My wrist, man. My wrist, man.
Okay, so he kind of... Yeah, he kind of moves his way through the car to come out. So Chauvin's already here, I think.
Get in the squad.
Guy on the left in the body cam video is Chauvin, so he's there. Floyd's trying to get out. Absolutely. Sakaki onsite says, 1, Floyd needed to not speak. Speaking makes your problems worse. That's true. That's true. Unfortunately, the education about how you interact with cops is very, very different from urban Black America to everywhere else. And it's a damn shame. And then it's even more different if you know a lawyer. If you know a lawyer, they'll tell you don't talk to cops ever. I'll tell you, don't talk to cops. Don't say anything. I want a lawyer. I'm not answering any of your questions. I want a lawyer. I want a lawyer right now. Provide me one. No more questions. No answers. Nothing else. And then you comply. That's it. That's how you deal with that situation. That's what you should do. Don't consent to anything. Don't consent to a search of your person, your property, anything like that. Just say, I'm not answering any questions. I want a lawyer. And then you comply with all lawful orders that follow. With basically all orders, even if they're unlawful, you kind of, don't get raped. Don't get that nightstick booty. But other than that, pretty much you're going to comply with things, even if you think they're unlawful, and you're going to fight them later. All that stuff will play to your advantage in court, and it's for your lawyer to suss out. when you get down to urban and specifically black demographics, this is part of the reason there's friction between the black community and police, is because there isn't a proper level of education, even a reasonable level of education, going towards the urban black community about how to interact with police. Instead, they're told cops want to kill you. Let me be clear. 99.999% of cops don't wake up and want to kill a black person. It's not their goal. I don't think that was Chauvin's goal. I don't think Chauvin had any intention of killing George Floyd. Don't think so. That's why I think the second-degree murder charge is bad. That's why I think a third-degree murder charge is more appropriate. And whether or not he's guilty of the third degree will come out as facts appear at trial and all of that stuff. I don't think even cops who end up shooting black people in what looks like really bad situations, most of them don't want to shoot a black person either. Most of them don't want to shoot anybody, because if they're shooting, that tends to mean they're getting shot at, they're at risk, or they feel frightened, and that's a bad thing. Of course, there's a 0.01% of cops out there who are bad. Of course there are. There's bad people everywhere. I don't think these guys had any intention of this going down in the way it did. So I want to make that very clear. But I also think that there's an education gap from the urban black community. And you see it in Black Lives Matter, right? Like you see it. You see it. There's a disconnect between statistical reality. There's a disconnect between interactivity, statistics between cops and black people. Now, there's arguments on either side of this, and you'll hear me making them, and sometimes I get called a cuck or whatever, and that's fine. I don't, this is fine. Fire, as flames burst around me, this is fine. There's a difference between what is and what people perceive, and both are really, really important. But when I talk about what people perceive, I'm talking about that perception is really, really important, even if it's wrong when we're addressing the societal issues and trying to figure out what approaches we take to address those societal issues. So when you have people who have been told their entire life that cops are going to murder them in the backyard, even if it's not true, they still believe it. And that formulates these type of interactions with Floyd. For Floyd, if he's telling the truth about being shot, by a cop, then yeah, you can understand why this guy is terrified, especially if he's on a drug that might decrease his mental state or mental capacity. You can understand exactly why. If you got shot by a cop based on your actions that you thought were fine, the next cop who comes and pulls a gun on you, you're going to be terrified about how that interaction is going to go. It doesn't mean that his actions are justified or anything like that, but it's important to frame this context and to start identifying the problems. Look, if you want to improve officer relations between police and black communities, walking around citing statistics at black communities isn't going to solve the problem. It's just not. It's similar to like if someone is starving on the street in America, like they're starving to death, and you walk up and say, America has enough wasted food that you literally cannot starve. You can't do it. That person's answer will be, but I am starving. And so solving that disconnect is a different question. And the statistical approach is very, very useful for a lot of things too. I'm not discounting it. I'm saying we have to take both in. And a lot of people want to get caught on one side or the other. The right tends to get caught up on the statistical side. Black crime is higher than white crime per capita by a lot. Black crime is higher than every crime per capita by a ton. And on the liberal side, we go with, well, it doesn't matter if the crime is higher. The perspective is what drives that high crime rate. The interaction with police is what drives the high crime rate. Oh, shit. That's what's driving it. So then we have this weird cause and effect problem, and no one's communicating on the real issues. You have to acknowledge both sides of these arguments because both sides are useful in different ways. You can be fully right-wing and fully fact and statistic based and still acknowledge that the black community is skeptical about police interactions with them. And you can say, I don't even think that their skepticism is reasonable, but I have to understand why these people have this skepticism is because of years and years and years of, one, if we go back like 50, 60 years, bad behavior by cops, bad behavior by the state. And if we go back 20, 30 years, bad education by people who had prior bad experiences that weren't having it going forward. So just my point on that type of stuff. I have to include it in here because it is really important. And we tend to get entrenched in political positions on stuff where political positions can cause damage on both sides. So that's mine. You can call me a lib fag all you want now. I'm with it. All right, back to this thing. Mo says being in his own car just prior to this doesn't invalidate his claim of claustrophobia. No, it doesn't. One's own car is a different environment than the back of a lockdown cop car. It's reasonable to believe his anxiety is authentic. I think that's important. I think that's an important distinction. And again, but I have to temper that. While I agree with you, I have to temper that with the cops have no reason to believe his claustrophobia defense. They have no reason to believe it. They don't know anything about him, including taking him at his word. And shockingly, criminals do lie, and these cops, even if this is their second day on the job, they will have encountered someone who has lied to them to try and get out of arrest. So, it goes both ways on that. But I think the cops should be considering that his anxiety is relatively authentic. They should be skeptical about it. They should keep safe. And that's going to factor into whether or not the knee restraint was appropriate at the end of the day. Nova Zero. Confirmed. Nick thinks black people can't do statistics. Statistically speaking, maybe. He also thinks black people are legally incompetent. Even if day was Kang's man. Come on. Oh my goodness. All right, back to it. I'm not gonna breathe. Bro, you won't die of a heart attack, man. I can't breathe. Get in the car. I like the random black guy on the road. Get in the car.
I can't breathe.
Take a seat.
Please, man. Please,
Is he going to jail? He's under arrest right now for forgery.
They finally, that sounds like maybe that's Chauvin. He's under arrest right now for forgery, maybe.
What's going on?
What? Take him out. For what? Please, man.
Here, come on out.
Look at you, thank you.
Okay, that's important. Did you hear what just happened? Chauvin gave him an order to come on out. I didn't hear that on the other video. That is really important, I think, and bad for Chauvin. Because up until then, he has wiggled out of the car. He has resisted being in the car. It's been entirely his actions. Suddenly, Derek Chauvin, I believe that's him. I don't know for a fact, but based on where his position is relative to when we first saw him and based on the change in voice, I think that's Derek Chauvin saying, come on out. So he's given him an order to get out. Let's see. I'll back it up a little bit here. We'll back it up a couple seconds.
Is he going to jail? He's under arrest right now for forgery. What's going on? Take him out.
For what?
Forgery for what? For what? They're saying forgery. They mean counterfeiting, which is the same crime. I believe it's the same crime, forgery.
Please, man. I can't breathe.
He said, I can't effing breathe. Please, man, please, I can't effing breathe. So then Chauvin said, come on out. Get on the ground, on the ground. Straighten him out. Chauvin's already got his knee on Floyd's neck here. This is weird. This is a big if I'm a prosecutor, and I'm not, because prosecutors are the worst people in the world. They're terrible. I hate them. Oh my God. Derek Chauvin just gave a lawful order to George Floyd. Come on out, get on the ground, and then put the knee on the back of his neck. Even if it, Nathan says, transcript says, Kung said, get out of the car. Either way, if Floyd laying down, Ty Beard's not a prosecutor, no. If Floyd laying down and getting out of the car is a lawful order, and then Chauvin gets on his neck, he is not properly employing the restraint. And that is really, really bad. That is really, really bad thing to do. Like, if he is following your order, suddenly you can no longer use the neck restraint. The neck restraint is intended for compliance purposes. If he's complying with your order, the neck restraint is categorically unnecessary. You cannot use it, according to the training manual.
Restraint. Hobble. I'll grab that.
Let's go back just a second. I want to hear that again.
On the ground.
Okay, hold on. We're going back farther.
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. Let go of me.
Please, man.
Is he going to jail? Speed is under arrest right now for forgery.
I tell you.
Can we figure out what's going on?
What? Take him out. For what? Please, man. I can't breathe.
Okay, that's where Kung said, let's take him out of this car. I think. Or someone said, let's take him out of this car. I don't know who it was. I shouldn't say it was Kung.
Come on out.
Come on out.
Get on the ground. Yeah, on the ground. On the ground.
On the ground. Get on the ground. He's on the ground.
You got your restraint? Hobble? Okay. I'll grab that. Jesus.
I can't breathe.
Thank you.
I can't breathe.
Stop moving.
Mama.
Yeah,
Mama.
it's in the,
Mama.
one of the front pouches
Mama.
on my right side bag.
Mama.
Got this guy.
All right. Oh my God.
Go to jail.
People are asking, does him saying, I can't breathe before the neck change anything? No. Yeah, shockingly, you can feel like you can't breathe, and then you can get into a different position where you can't breathe. And both can be, like, you can be wrong about not being able to breathe before, obviously, you're talking. You can even be wrong about it later. Whether or not he died from asphyxiation isn't actually the question. And that's something that I think a lot of people are missing in the social context of this charge, is whether or not he died by asphyxiation specifically. It's whether or not the use of a knee restraint is the proximate cause of his death. Without the use of the knee restraint, was he otherwise going to die? I don't know the answer to that, but that's the question that must be answered. Is this thing, one, is this thing illegal? And two, did this thing cause his death? If it was it illegal because it was intentional? Is it illegal because it was negligent? Those are two different questions. And then, did it cause his death? If the answer is it was intentional and it caused his death, Not that they intended to cause his death. If the knee restraint intentionally caused injury to Floyd, which I haven't seen evidence of, but if it intentionally caused great bodily harm to Floyd and he died from it, that's second-degree murder. If it was not intentional, but it was reckless and caused his death, that's third-degree murder. If it was not intentional and it was negligent and caused his death, that's second-degree manslaughter. That's the three elements we have to assess. Not whether or not it caused his death by asphyxiation. Maybe they can prove that the knee, and proves a pretty distinct word, that the knee on the neck caused him to have a cardiopulmonary incident, which killed him. It raised his stress levels. They need expert testimony for this. If they can prove that, they don't have to prove asphyxiation. And currently, the evidence on asphyxiation particularly is lacking. So they have to prove whether or not the knee caused the death, not that the knee caused the death in a specific way. Very, very, very important distinctions. Okay? Him saying, I got COVID, I can't breathe, none of that actually matters to the death. He doesn't know why he's dying. He doesn't know why he's dying. And his words don't really matter other than him saying, I'm in distress. The reason his words matter at all is because at some point, maybe his pleading with the officers might amount to enough cause for them to have been required to do something different. I don't know. That'll be part of the argument. I'm not saying it does. I'm not saying it doesn't. There's no hardline rule on this. But at some point, you've got the guy restrained with 3 officers. At some point, do you change your position and make sure he's alive? Now, here's the crazy thing. Think about this. If after 5 minutes, Derek Chauvin takes his knee off of Floyd's neck, and then a minute and a half later, he dies, Chauvin's innocent. Chauvin is innocent at that point. His knee is no longer the contributing factor. Now we've got, okay, overdose, cardiopulmonary. Fact that he was on his neck to the point after he became non-responsive and for 3 minutes after, that's really where Chauvin is being hung. That's where he's being hung on this. Okay, let's keep going. Otherwise, we'll never finish this. It also doesn't matter where he was declared dead.
Mama, I love you.
They can't declare him dead at the scene. There's not a medical professional to declare him dead.
Reese, I love you. You got Hubble? My kids, I love you. Mine's in my side. It's listed. It's labeled. I can't breathe for nothing, man. It's cold-blooded, man.
That was Chauvin saying you're doing a lot of talking for not breathing.
Mama, I love you. I can't do nothing.
Yeah, EMS is on their way.
My face is gone.
Remind you, we have 8 minutes left of this.
I can't breathe, man. Please. Please let me stand. Please, man, I can't breathe.
Get up on the sidewalk, please. One side or the other, please.
My face is getting bad. Oh, my God.
Just leave him. Yep, just leave him.
We have to ask the question of why Chauvin is still on his neck. That's going to be the question at trial.
Please, I can't breathe. Please, man. Please, somebody.
Relax. Literally a guy on the back of your neck shoving your head into the pavement.
will. I can't move. Ah, Mama. Mama. I can't. I'm bent.
Is that the
Alright.
shaking of the eyes, right?
My knee. My neck.
The eyes like shaking.
I'm through. I'm through. I'm claustrophobic. My stomach hurts. My neck hurts.
5 minutes left.
Get the water or something. Please. Please. I can't breathe.
Talking, a lot of yelling.
They will kill me, man.
Takes a heck of a lot of oxygen.
Come on, man.
All those little quips from Chauvin. That's a heck of a lot of oxygen if you can't breathe. You're breathing fine. You're talking. All those things, those will play negatively against Chauvin at trial.
I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe. They'll kill me. They'll kill me. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
That was a little bit interesting. In the background, there was some chatter going on. I couldn't hear the question, but it was probably, based on the answer, something like, why don't you pick him up and put him in the car? And the cop said, we tried that for 10 minutes. We tried that for 10 minutes. That was just an interesting little note that I hadn't heard about before. That was him saying, roll him on his side. Should we roll him on his side? And he said, no, he needs to stay put. That was I think Kung. I don't know if it was Kung or Lane who said, should we roll him on his side? But if you've got the transcript, you know. I just don't know off the top of my head. Chauvin saying, no, he needs to stay put. What did he say there? Okay, I'm trying to catch what Chauvin said. The guy says, I'm just worried about excited delirium or whatever. This is interesting. I haven't seen this conversation. I know that they're concerned about excited delirium. But is there something linking excited delirium to having a problem with being on your stomach? Because the guy who asked if they should roll him over says, I'm just worried about excited delirium. It seems to be in reference of whether or not they should roll him over. I can't hear what Chauvin says. It's too quiet. Let's try one more time. Chauvin said that's why we've got him on his stomach. Okay, so there we go. Interestingly, the rookie officer has probably had training on excited delirium more recently than Chauvin. that's just a quirk of how seniority tends to work in these things. I think he's passed out, he said. Mind you, he thinks he's passed out. They're still maintaining the same level of pressure. At this point in the UFC, you are getting fined and removed from the sport for at least a year.
Yeah, I mean, good so far. My knee might be a little scratched, but I'll survive.
Coding Roses says positional asphyxia can cause sudden cardiac arrest when laying on stomach and excited delirium. I don't know this. I'm not a medic. I'm not a medical. So thank you for sharing that. I'll take you at your word. The guy said, check his pulse. He checked his wrist. He said, I can't find one. Just so, in case you missed it. There we go. That's something completely different. Man. That's a long time. That's a long time to stand on someone's neck who isn't moving. That's a long time. They did not... The CPR, I've read some conflicting reports on it. I believe the CPR happens like a minute to 2 minutes after the EMTs arrive. I gotta say, that video does not in any way for me change my opinion on Derek Chauvin's innocence or guilt. I think that guy is guilty of third-degree murder. I think the other officers are in the clear. I really do. I don't think they're accessories to the murder. I think the senior officer to junior officer, especially when it's 20 years versus like first week, I think that plays a lot into what happened. I think that their actions are relatively reasonable. They are dealing with a guy who is resisting to some level. That much is clear from the video. I think that three other officers, or specifically Kung and Lane, are I don't think they're guilty. I really don't. Tu Tao, I don't know. That's a weird thing. He's off to the side. He's not even looking at Floyd. He's on crowd patrol. I find it hard to peg a killing on him. But Chauvin, man, I think Chauvin's guilty based on what I've seen. Man, the Malort is killing me. I got to go to the bathroom again. I'll be right back. And then we'll see you guys in just a second. Chat amongst yourselves. Make fun of me and all that stuff. Okay. Okay, how's it going, guys? So that was some pretty intense video. You know, it's always a little weird watching someone die. It's always a little weird watching someone die. If you don't do it often, if you're not like some sort of deranged sicko like me, you don't watch people get killed randomly on video. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. Gigoku, yeah, I think they certainly can't prove first-degree murder, but I don't think they can prove second either. I mean, they're charging it. They think they can try. Think they can make an effort. I think third degree is the most likely charge. It's important to remember that Mohammed Noor, the guy who shot Justine Damand, the Somali cop in Minneapolis who shot a white lady in Minneapolis, that guy was charged with second-degree murder as well. He was convicted of third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. Same sort of story to what I actually expect Derek Chauvin to be convicted of. You can charge the second-degree murder and include third-degree murder as a lesser included offense and argue for both. You can get to a point of overcharging, and when you overcharge too much, the jury might just screw you or whatever. But that's the I think, excuse me, that's the outcome that we'll see. I think Justine Damand and George Floyd are going to get roughly the same treatment, charging second degree and convicting on third degree. As for the three other officers, I think they'll walk on any sort of murder or homicide charges. Maybe not. I just don't see the cause. I don't see the cause. In this video, you got him checking the guy's pulse twice. You got him asking the senior officer on scene if he should roll him over, expressing why he thinks he should roll him over. Excited delirium. I think excited delirium. I'm worried about it. Chauvin ends up saying, yeah, that's why we're keeping him on his stomach. I would argue, if I were that guy's lawyer, I'd be like, my client is asking the question of, should we roll him over for excited delirium for his sake? For his sake. And Chauvin is taking it the opposite way. I'm worried about excited delirium for our sake. That would be my argument. That would be my argument about it. I'm not, I'm not saying it would be 100% foolproof, but I mean, you certainly want to say that you're concerned about excited delirium causing cardiac arrest or something like that. And then you say, look, Officer Kung or Lane or whatever has had more recent training about the realities of excited delirium and the interplay with the cardiovascular system, blah, 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 blah. And you make that argument. He's just out. He's a fresh, new guy. Chauvin probably hasn't been trained on this in a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe more. Depends on when the last time he was trained in this specific thing was. If Chauvin gets convicted, he is busted. He is busted. He's done. He will be going to prison for a long time. They'll be pushing for heavy sentences, and there's not going to be much way around it. And that might be unfair to him, and he may have a case on appeal to get some reductions. But that sucks. You don't want to be in that situation. But there's just so much news and baggage and animosity around this. They've already talked about moving the case outside of Minneapolis to get a fair and impartial jury. I don't think they're going to get an any more fair or impartial jury outside of Minneapolis than they would inside of Minneapolis. I think the jury pool is just as likely to be fair as it, anywhere else. Where are they going to go? Washington? Just go to Portland or whatever? But we'll see. We'll see what they do on that. So far, they're keeping the charges in Minneapolis. And there's a bunch of people. Heck, there are people in this chat. There's certainly people in Minneapolis, especially after the riots, by the way, that will favor Chauvin on this. That their predisposition will be to favor Chauvin. So that'll be up to the attorneys on voir dire trying to find the right jurors. And that's what they'll do. And that's their job. That's their job, so we'll let them do it. I think the video looks very bad for Chauvin. Very, very bad. He looks callous. You see concerns being raised by his junior officers. You see concerns being raised by the crowd. You see Chauvin stop moving. I mean, you see it. You see him stop moving. It's not like a mystery. He was moving his arms around. He was doing things. Some people can categorize it as resisting. I don't know if it rises to that level so much as just how you act when your face is in pavement and bodies are on top of you. But either way, he's moving and then he stops. No pulse on 2 checks. And Chauvin's on his neck the entire time. Again, whether or not he died from an overdose, whether or not he died from cardiac arrest, pulmonary issues that are not related to asphyxiation, it's hard to say because let's be real, the coroner's reports are politically motivated. All of them. Of course they are. The one particularly by Chauvin's family, the private report, I trust it 0. The independent medical report from Hennepin County, I think there's likely pressure on that guy to produce some sort of result. So I don't really trust it, but those are the only evidence we've got at the moment. And so that's the only admissible evidence for the trial. And that's what we have to use. So, but whether or not he died from those issues, the question isn't what he died from. It's what caused the issue to occur. And if you walk through it this way, had the police not in any way intervened, would Derek Chauvin be dead right now? Or not Derek Chauvin, fuck. Would George Floyd be dead right now? If you say no, then move to the next question. If you say yes, ignore it. Would he be dead right now if they had not intervened? Okay, so now once they've intervened, he would not be dead. Okay, once the knee goes on the neck, like you just pick spots and you say, once this happens, would he be dead today if it didn't? And once you answer yes, or I guess once you answer no, if this didn't happen, would he still be dead? That last thing that you answer no to, that's the cause of his death. I think being put on the ground and having 3 officers, and particularly one on his neck, even if he's dying from a cardiac arrest or something, that exacerbates it to the point of fault, based on what I've seen. And I think That's going to be the argument of the prosecutor in this case. The argument of the defense will be something along the lines of, no, it couldn't reasonably have caused his death. Something else could have reasonably caused his death. Now I've created reasonable doubt, and we need to get away from it. I think we need more evidence to fully assess that, and once it comes out, I will happily do a video on it because I think it'll be a really interesting exercise. So, all right, let's do the rest of chats, and then we will go to a watch party. What are we watching tonight? I was going to watch Anaconda, but it's gone. Anaconda it was only on for 1 month, and I missed it, which pisses me off. So I'm not entirely sure what to watch tonight. Let's see. I don't know what you guys are interested in watching, but I'm still hung up on Rollerball being really good. Maybe we should watch Black Eagle. Black Eagle would be good. Or we could watch Fist of Fury. Fist of Fury with Bruce Lee. Let's do Fist of Fury with Bruce Lee. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Ty said he wanted to be on for it, but that's never going to happen at this time of night. We're going to watch Fist of Fury with Bruce Lee, 1972, otherwise known as Chinese Connection. That'll be after the stream tonight. Let's go through these super chats and justice chats. Is there a reason I still have the headphones on? Because I forgot to take them off because I have Malort in my system. That's why. Thank you for reminding me. Velocipaster and nude nuns with big guns is a that's a Christian theme night. We're not gonna do it tonight. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know you've been asking 5 Deadly Venoms for a while, but I think I can do 5 Deadly Venoms with Drexel this week. And that's what we're gonna do for that. It's hard to get Ty on because of the communication issues and also the time issues. Drexel's going to be out here this week, so we'll do 5 Deadly Venoms with Drexel. All right, here we go. Viden the Cold One, why am I awful? What did I do wrong? I'm not that kind of guy. Viden, I'm not that kind of guy. Okay, let's do these chats and then let's wrap up. I got to get some food. Alistair's Knight. Alistair's Knight says, Nick, I know you would prefer a glass replacement, but I could probably 3D print you a replacement or two if you wanted the corners to match. I make no promises as I am new when it comes to modeling custom things, but will try my hardest if interested. It's a big piece. I don't know if your printer would be big enough for it. That'd be the concern. I don't know how big your printer is either. But thank you for the offer. There's a glass shop here in town. I'm going to see if they do a custom glass job on it. Tess Not on Holiday says, as the ancient Chinese philosopher Big Shaq once said, 2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3. Quick maths. Thank you, Tess. Night of Hopex says, Malort is only good for washing the taste of Monica's spongina out of your mouth. Why would you do that? The problem is that for 5 seconds or so, the combined taste is even worse than that. No man has managed to not claw his own eyes out afterward. Ron, I said no man. Night of Hopex, you're banned for life from living. As Cybertaz says, Malort hangs out in your mouth like Vamp does after Tonka, Blue, or Donga. Gross. God. Nancy Pelosi says, what happened to George Carlin was a tragedy. It's because of corrupt racist cops that men like George Jefferson die. We must honor the memory of George Kirby with peaceful protests. So what happened to George Jeppson didn't happen to other black men. Oh, it's a perfect Pelosi quote, and I believe it 100%. As Cybertaz says, George Floyd couldn't live within his means. Chauvin just gave him a Just gave him according to George's need. No. No, Taz. No S Cyber Taz. Drifter. I'm not sure when we're going to finish Elfin Lead. Mario Carter 13 says, hotels are locked down so hard there's no vacancy. Damn. Colonel J says, big ups, pimp. Hey, what's up, Colonel J? Hildred Castagne says, just started another 6-week stage 4 lockdown with curfew, permits to be outdoors, and military patrols. How bad has your day been, really? Jesus. Where are you, Hildred? Oh, Australia. F's in chat for Australia. Rip. 200 Watt Studio says, is this leading up to Lady R filing for divorce? No. We do not actually believe in divorce. So, no. We don't talk about it. We don't joke about it. It's actually been one of the, and I would strongly recommend that to anybody in a relationship. Don't even allow the discussion of divorce to enter your mind. It's really, this is a secret that Drexel will never admit, but divorce, relationships, as far as marriage, they're a constant effort. It's an everyday effort. It's you deciding that your immediate feelings about this person need to take a break when they're bad. That when you're frustrated, when you're angry, when you're mad about something, that you don't just bail out. That's what it is. And it's both parties doing that. And if both parties are committed to doing that, you can have a successful marriage. If both parties aren't committed to doing that, or they stop being committed to it, that's when they break down. That's how you go. I'm not saying that it's a perfect system. I'm saying that we consciously, a long time ago and several times throughout our marriage, have affirmed our opposition to that sort of thinking. And maybe that's part of our success. Maybe not. Dr. Teeth says, get some flexible plexiglass for that door rackets. Something. Got to get something. Joshua Vidrine says, it's not your allergy shot. It's an assassination attempt from the government for having read and seen too much. You're going to get Epstein, Nikki. No. 200 Watt Studio says, hanging out in the back of my throat, she said. Unrelenting Male says, that MF Chauvin is walking. I can feel it. I don't think he's going to walk. I really don't. Michael Mason says, my friend from Chicago said that I might actually like Malort after trying my brutal Islay scotches. Thoughts? Malort is nothing like an Islay. Nothing. It's like the worst gin you've ever had. Islay scotches are not botanical. Take gin, urine, and Calvin Klein cologne and mix them and drink that. That's Malort. Ulash1 says, Cherkun needs a new strategy to save itself from Nick's horrid shorts. Rude. Sabian Underground says, D-bot slag, now slug, molten metal is bad, says Arcee. I don't know what that means. DZVW, I have tried mead. I actually like mead. Ulash1 says, Nick, tell Flash to stop butchering my name when I super chat saying he's going to make you late and gay. Impossible. Ryan English says, I've been away for a while, but I'm glad you're still at it. Hey, thanks, Ryan. I am still at it. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you're doing well, buddy. Kuro Mythos says, after Nick drank the Malort, are you winning yet? Are you winning, son? No. Losing badly. Satanic Potato says, George Floyd, George of the Jungle, strong but he can't breathe. Watch out for that knee. No. My virtue signals are at maximum. Bad racism. Damn it. Why would you do this? Why you do this? DZV Titan says, Malort, when a simple fuck you isn't enough. Automata says, if you aren't an Asian woman, explain that facial hair pattern, Nikki. Damn. It's just regrowing. Finn Frog says, I'm canceling my tier 3 subscription now. No. I'll not be married or whatever it takes. Come back to me, daddy girl. Scott Manuel says, I thought lawyers were good at lying. Nick, that Malort should be drunk with a smiling face and a 5-star review. It's impossible. I tried to keep a straight face. It's so bad. It's so bad. Hunter Banks says, "Hi, Nick. Big fan of your content. Keep up the good work. And is it all right if you could shout out my sister, Amanda? She had her 3rd child today. Hey, big ups to Amanda. Congratulations. I hope everybody is healthy. And that everyone will continue to grow." I missed this one. Wolfreak says, "Thanks, Nick, for going through this. Me and my mom watching here are convinced of 3rd-degree charges. They still have questions about him calling for breath in the car and a crowd trying to intervene. Chauvin definitely seems stuck in his ways as PD." Yeah, and I think Chauvin is going to be stuck in his ways as of getting charged and convicted. Currently, waiting to see what else comes out. True SSJ Havoc says, "I see people in the chat calling Floyd a liar. On what? I hope this chat's being stupid." I think Floyd did lie. He said he's not on anything. He had a significant amount of, it's to be clear, he had a significant amount of fentanyl in his system. He had a very insignificant amount of meth in his system. Someone on Ritalin is going to have a comparable amount of meth, actually probably more meth in their system than what he had. He had a negligible amount of methamphetamine in his system. But his fentanyl levels were very, very high. And it does seem like he lied about that. So maybe that's what they were talking about. I don't know. But we're being honest here. Scott Manuel says, "I thought lawyers were good at lying." Wait, I read that one. I read this one too. I missed this. Weird. JS says, "Hey, Nick, if Drex gets around to seeing this, do you think he'll come on and voice his opinion?" I mean, I'll ask him to come on this, several times this coming week. I don't know if we'll talk about Floyd or not. Jared Frost says, "Midsection body cam footage shows the rest of us what it's like to live every day as Ron Toye." Damn. Samoto12 says, "Tim Pool said that cops don't need to Mirandize you." No, cops do not need to Mirandize you. That's actually correct. They need to Mirandize you if they want your statements following their questions to be valid on an arrest. If you are arrested and they don't Mirandize you and they ask you questions and you answer them, those statements can be inadmissible, but the cops might not need admissible statements from you. You should always just say, "I'm not answering any questions without a lawyer present," period. John Russell says, "Oompa oompa doody da day. I'm wearing a body cam. You're under arrest. Hey." There you go. Bad Vibe says, "Police in Oregon keep a database of individuals from prior stops, correction clients, trespassing, police safety, etc. Call REMS, as well as associations and vehicles and homes used during dispatch." Okay. Yeah. And they asked him to run, Minnesota, you can run a DOJ or Department of Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, BCA report on someone at the time of their arrest or detention. And you can find out what they've been arrested or detained for in the past. He said, run a report on this. I don't know what they learned about Floyd during that. That part was cut. DCV Titan says, "Nick confirming blacks are uneducated." Okay. Oh, come on. Sam W says, "Mom taught me at age 7, don't put your hands in your pockets when in stores because I'm black and they will think I am stealing even when I'm not." And that's good advice. It really is good advice. Kalinka Pavlova says, "Unrelated to everything, I found an abandoned kitten and will now spend $150 to $200 to get it to full health, etc. because its mother's owners refuse to pay $20 to $100 to spay the mother, and my nose itches." Look, kittens are cute though. Have you considered kittens being cute? Christian Hernandez says, "Hey Nick, love your streams. To get off topic for a sec, can you take a shot for the 7 Marines and 1 sailor who passed away this weekend in a training accident? Till Valhalla Brothers." Of course I can. Not a full shot, but like a half shot of something good, not Malort. Lagavulin 12. This is a brutal shot. I'm going to regret it. I'm going to regret it. Till Valhalla. Brothers. I mean, not my brothers. I'm not military. I'm not stolen valor. Woo! Whoa! AlphaBot 2020 says, they weren't Vikings, though. Thanks for your streams, Nick. You've helped me in my law and ethics class. You're awesome. Hey, thank you. Good luck in that. Amateur Anth. Love the 1,500 doctors and 1,000 lawyers in the chat. Look, the internet is a hive mind, and it's full of the hive. Kuro Mythos says, Chauvin was given at least 2 opportunities to move the position. Even after they could not find a pulse, he still held position. He is effed. Maybe. Matt Field says, do you actually think Chauvin will get a fair trial? I don't know that anybody on earth gets a fair trial. Like, that's a philosophical problem I have with the trial system, is that when your client shows up at the defendant table, they already have assumptions. What did this guy do? Most jurors do not look at someone at the defendant table and go, what is this guy charged with? They said, what did he do to get here? And so I don't know if anybody gets a fair trial. As for Chauvin particularly, no, of course not. Sanico, legally, yes. Practically, no. Sanico says, Tony Timpa, 13 minutes plus cop making jokes, no riots. Right. And we should be rioting on that. That's the reality. We should be rioting all the time. Except I don't riot. Damn it. I don't write or riot. JS, thank you for the donation. Blue Satoshi says, Wikipedia says Chauvin was an officer since 2001. Yeah, 19 years. Matthew Harder says, hi, Nick. I'm late to the stream, but have you watched Good Luck America's video on the case? Says the guy might get off. GLA was a retired detective. No. I don't watch other people's videos on this case. In general, most cases I don't watch other people's videos on. A couple I might, to see if, especially if it's like more in their wheelhouse. No, I don't. I'm going based off the evidence I see and making my own opinions on it. So I'm not saying his video is bad. I don't know. You know. Angry Baneling says, watch Bible Black today. Wholesome entertainment. It's not on Amazon. It's not on Amazon. Bad Vibe says, Little Shop of Horrors is on Prime. I love that movie. I don't know if Prime is ready for a musical. We'll have to talk about it. Amateur Ant says, around 30 people dead because of BLM, Antifa, SJW since the riots happened. The BS media has said, I think it's way more deaths, SMDH. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. All over Forge 20. Matt Field says, I really wish Watch Party was iOS compatible. It's not. God damn it. Apple, stop being cucks. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. Unknown Existence says, coming 2021, Jordan Peele presents a Spike Lee joint. The heroic life story of George Floyd, starring Chadwick Boseman as Floyd with Ava DuVernay as producer. That's probably the truest story said so far. Crumbrion. Are you in the chat? How dare you, Crumbrion? How dare you? I saw your Twitter exchange with Ron, and I'm just going to say, how dare you, one more time. It's your fault, all of it, everything. The Atomisk says they are going to have to move that trial to 1950. Oh, no. No, don't do it. He'll be killed. Angry Baneling says, you divorced Sekiro, though. How could you, Nick? Look, she was treating me wrong. Seal Club says, any chance The Hague would pick up the trial? The Hague Convention? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know what the Hague Convention would have anything to do with this trial. Unlikely. Siren Jag says, but chug the Malort the way God intended. It's the only way you could drink it. Wait, you had Ron on stream today? No. Or you just said it on your stream. Ron wasn't there, was he? I'm curious. Amateur Ant says Floyd thought he was around 3 women. All I heard was him saying, "I can't breed." The Buzz CJC says George Floyd prawn for watch party. Yes, there is one. No. Okay, you didn't have him on. You just said it on your stream. Okay. I was like, damn, why would he come back? He's done. He's got a Twitter back. He no longer wants to engage anywhere else. Sapien Underground says Transformers RC says slag name bad. Now slug. Look. As a married and committed husband, RC can get it. RC can get it. Let's see. Bad Vibe says they can access this info prior to interacting with an individual. It can be requested when running a plate or identification or when a reporting party or address is mentioned in a call for context. Yeah, I know. I believe you. I don't know if that changes. I don't know that they did it. I know that he told the one guy to run the name, and that's all I know. I don't know what BCA report they pulled. I don't know if they got the Texas stuff. I don't know what they've got. They don't mention it. Kalinka Pavlova says, yes, kittens are cute and we're keeping it. Please pray for my nose, though. Oh, are you allergic? Try Xolair. Just 2 shots full of sludge every month. It's perfect. Kalinka also says, also, please pray for my upholstery. Yeah, mine's done. My cats are just wrecking couches left and right. And Sakaki Onsai says, rumor is that Stearns County is where they want to go. There or St. Louis County. It's from a lawyer I know in St. Cloud. Look, I don't want to be in a Stearns County courthouse. I've been in a Stearns County courthouse. I don't want to be there. They're the same, as Chauvin. I don't want to be in Stearns County at all. Biden the Cold One says, I was just commenting on your tasteless religious joke about the movies. You're good. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Biden. Let's see. Redacted says the only state in Australia that's locked down is Victoria. They had sympathy protests for the USA riots. You get what you deserve. To be clear, no matter what, riots are bullshit. I know I jokingly said we should be rioting. Shouldn't be rioting. People should be protecting their rights in the court. People should be our Congress is shameful. Shame for display from Congress in not protecting our rights. Literally constantly. All these cuck congressmen want to be law and order congressmen, can eat shit and a bullet laced shit to all of the law and order congressmen. That's not your job. The executive branch can be a law and order person. That's their job. Congress, I'm a law and order congressional candidate. Fuck off. Your job is not law and order. Your job is just law. Create law. Law and order is the executive branch's job. And Congress sells us, particularly Republican congressmen and senators, sell us, you and me, private citizens, downriver all day in the interest of being a law and order candidate. Fuck off. Your job is not to put me in prison for bullshit. Your job is to keep my liberty safe while keeping me safe from enemies, both foreign and domestic. That is Congress's job. The executive branch decides how to enforce law. If you ever see a congressional law and order candidate, walk up and put your dick all the way into their diaphragm. Fuck them. They can die in a fire for all anyone cares. Not their role. Fuck off. Learn the proper roles of government. Again, if you want a law and order candidate, that's your president. And yes, if you want a law and order candidate who's tough on crime, get the president. That's the president's job. Execute the laws of the land. Do it vigorously. Do it emphatically. Law and order congressional candidates don't have your liberty at concern. They don't. They necessarily must not, because their whole platform involves creating new laws to make whatever you're doing illegal. No, that's the opposite of liberty. And they get wrapped up because they're like, I'm a Republican. I'm a law and order. No. Go away. Go away. All right. Mexican Man and Cheese. These are the last two. Oh, wait. Yeah. Last two chats, and then we're going to play the outro, and then we're going to go. Wolvenar, I'm just drunk. It's fine. Mexican Man and Cheese says, the grand tour for Watch Party. In 313, they get car parts airdropped on the Mongolian steppe and have to build and drive across. Never heard of it. Maybe. Socialism is for Fig says, what's up with Minneapolis PD saying give up your car to bad guys and don't protect yourself? The Minneapolis PD, socialism, what they've done, socialism is for figs, to be clear. All they've done is to tell citizens to do the same thing they did to their own precinct. The 3rd precinct gave up the keys to the precinct when the mob showed up. Now they're just saying, yeah, just go ahead and give your car, your wallet, your cell phone to the robber, and then it's not a robbery. What are you worried about? What are you worried about? No, forget about it. It's not a robbery. You're just giving up your stuff. You're giving it to them. The 3rd precinct in Minneapolis can get fucked. Mayor Jacob Frey can get fucked. All these people can eat shit. I don't care about any of them. I hate them all. Hope they peacefully get COVID. Angry Baneling says that outro better not suck again. It was fixed. It should be good. It should be good. All right, guys. Thanks a bunch. Yeah, Elfen Lied is shit. I know anime storytelling is shit in general. We don't need to argue over this. All right, guys. Go get some food. Go get some drinks. Meet me on Twitch. I love you. Good night. Peace.
Realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along with his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight. We'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitter and Erland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an ardbeg, a bow, more of that Freud. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Doug T to Jeppson. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law